When the UN called the war in Sudan the biggest humanitarian crisis on earth, we went to see for ourselves, and we discovered something you haven't heard much about. This is a war that is targeting women and children, a war where rape is a weapon and a school is the scene of a massacre. 70,000 people have been killed so far, 70,000, and at least 1.5 million are on the run. If it's hard to imagine all those refugees, let us introduce you to just one. 4-year-old Zainab is a silent little girl chased from her home in Sudan, now living in a refugee camp with her father Tahir. Her face makes you wonder what happened. Her arm tells the story of the attack on her village and the bomb that maimed her. She is one of 200,000 refugees now living in neighboring Chad, almost all of them women and children. They're being chased and followed all the way to the border with Chad.
Even this little girl is deemed a threat. How can a little girl be a threat to the Sudanese government? It's inconceivable.
Samantha Power is an American investigating the atrocities. Last year, she won the Pulitzer Prize for her book on genocide.
Children are targets, women are targets. The government and the Janjaweed seem to be intent on ensuring that life, African life, does not exist in Darfur again.
Darfur is a part of Sudan where an Arab militia called the Janjaweed has burned villages and driven away black Africans who have lived here 1,000 years. John Prendergast works for the International Crisis Group. It's an organization that works to resolve armed conflicts. He's also a former Africa Affairs Director in the Clinton White House. Prendergast told us that attacks on women and children are part of a strategy. The point in these attacks is not just to destroy the village, but to make sure that nobody ever comes back.
Yeah. While they're being attacked, they're being told, you slaves, you blacks, we don't want you back in this area. This is not your area, this is our area. We have brandings of rape victims.
Branding of rape victims?
We've had a number of testimonies and visual evidence of women who have been raped and then branded, sort of like a scarlet letter, a permanent letter on them that says that they've been raped by an Arab soldier or Janjaweed member, and the bloodline has now been infiltrated.
It is a brand that Zara Abdel Karim will wear for the rest of her life. Can you tell me what happened?
I was raped.
I understand that they scarred you as well.
Yes. I was burned on one leg.
What did they do that with?
They used knives.
Zara told us that her husband and 2 of her children were killed. Now she's left with a 1-year-old infant and the mark of the Janjaweed. What does Janjaweed mean?
Janjaweed means literally evil man on horseback.
And this is what evil does to a village in Darfur.
How many people lived here before? About?
I'm not sure, but about 500.
About 500 in this village.
It started a 1.5 years ago when Sudan's Arab government decided to put down a rebellion in Darfur by simply driving out the entire population. This is what's left of a girls' school in pictures taken by African investigators. The attack happened in July. 8 girls were shackled before the school was set afire. Investigators for the U.S. State Department found other atrocities, and we obtained their field notes. They include these quotes: targeting of young boys, a male child held up by ankles and knifed across stomach, a male child smashed on tree, and a number of girls raped and brutalized so badly they had to be carried to Chad. Still can't walk. In the refugee camp in Chad, we met Amina, who told us that her son had been with other children running away from an attack when they were hit by a bomb.
I couldn't find the body of my child. All that was there was a pile of dismembered bodies. I was terrorized. I was weeping. Our people buried the dead. I took my surviving children and left because this one is now gone.
Broken families take days to cross the Sahara Desert into Chad and reach camps that have been set up by the International Rescue Committee. Some children come so malnourished they have to drink formula all day long. Older brothers or sisters feed them when no parent has survived. The most recent genocide in Africa certainly was Rwanda in 1994. How does this compare?
In Rwanda, the killing was done in 100 days. In Sudan, this thing is strung on for 17 months. Sudan is Rwanda in slow motion. It's unfolding in a way that has ironically given the world the chance to redeem itself for the failures in 1994. And the world has just dropped the ball.
Now, a group of African nations is preparing to send in a few thousand peacekeepers, but it's a small force for an area the size of Texas. The UN and the United States have offered only humanitarian support. In the meantime, the World Health Organization says 10,000 men, women, and children from Darfur die every month.